400,000 years ago, long before anyone called this place Istanbul, long before cities were built, long before empires were established, people lived in this cave. The people here were simply trying to survive. They hunted wild boar and deer. They made stone tools. Every winter, they would leave this place. Bears would move in, hibernate, and claim the cave as their own. Every spring, the people would return, light fires, and continue their existence on the brink of the Ice Age. This is Yarımburgaz Cave, not only in Istanbul, not only in Turkey, but probably the oldest known human settlement in all of Europe. And this is where our story begins. Let's begin. 300,000 years pass, the Ice Age ends, and the glaciers melt. Sea levels rise, and in the places where the Yarımburgaz hunters once roamed, farmers establish villages. Civilization and settled life begin. These are not nomadic hunters. They are settled people. They are farmers. They grow wheat and barley. They raise goats and sheep. They make pottery. They build permanent houses. This is Yenikapı. It is the oldest settlement on the European side of Istanbul. Although its name is Yenikapı, it is one of the oldest settlements. These farmers live on the shore of a freshwater lake, not the sea. But 80 kilometers south, something is happening. The Mediterranean rising. Every year, a little higher. The ice caps are melting. The pressure is building against the land barrier. Around 6000 BC, the land barrier at the Dardanelles gives way. Mediterranean water cuts through. A torrent 200 times the power of Niagara Falls. The sound can be heard 100 kilometers away in Yenikapı. The water flows northwards from the Bosphorus Valley, half a meter a day. Within 3 months, an area of 60,000 square kilometers is submerged. The villagers of Yenikapı watch their world disappear. They gather their belongings as best they can and flee inland. Their homes, their fields, their footprints in the mud. All are swallowed by the sea. Yenikapı lay dormant beneath the sediments, underwater, for 8,000 years. Until 2008, workers digging a metro tunnel 9 meters below the streets of Istanbul came across something unexpected. Wooden poles, perfectly preserved, 8,500 years old. The first inhabitants of Istanbul were discovered by chance. 2,000 years after the flood, a new people arrived. They took possession of these beautiful lands, the Thracians, fearless warriors from the Balkans, but also fishermen and traders. They looked upon this peninsula, this strategic point where 3 waters meet, and established a settlement. They named it Lygos. It was a small place. Perhaps a few hundred people lived there. The second beginning for Istanbul starts here. The people of Thrace are not great city builders. They live a simple life in small villages, in wooden houses, but they are fierce warriors. Blue-eyed, red-haired, they are a warrior people feared throughout the Balkans. And they understand something very important. Whoever controls this point, whoever rules here, controls the route between 2 continents. They fish in the strait. They trade with ships passing between the Black Sea and the Mediterranean. Greek merchants stop here. Persian merchants pass through here. This is not just a village. It is a passageway. Most importantly, it is a checkpoint. Greek historians will write about them. The Thracian people are a very numerous people. Had they united under a single ruler, they could have been invincible. But they are not united. They are in tribes and very scattered. And this will be their weakness. At night, fires burn within the settlement. Guards watch the waters incessantly. Pirates plunder these shores. Rival tribes attack. Life here is quite dangerous. Whoever controls this region and this point controls the world's greatest trade route. For 3 centuries, Lygos has controlled this area. It is a small but strategic point. It watches and controls the passage of the world through the strait. But in 667 BC, ships appear on the horizon. Different large ships, not merchant vessels, Greek triremes, colonists from Megara, sent to establish a new city. They are searching for the land opposite the blind men, and when they see this peninsula, they realize it is the place they seek. The era of Byzantium was about to begin. Lygos could not resist much longer. In a short time, Greek settlers took over the Thracian village. Stone walls, a suitable harbor, temples. The Greeks were far superior to the Thracians in terms of settlement and urbanization. Its strategic location was correct. Every ship between the Black Sea and the Mediterranean passed through here and paid a toll. Byzantium was growing rapidly. A new era was beginning. By 550 BC, Byzantium had completely seized control of the strait. Grain ships sailed from the Black Sea to the Mediterranean. Wine from Anatolia, slaves, timber, metals. The city levied taxes on everything. This enriched the city more and more as time passed. 513 BC. The Persian Empire arrives in all its splendor. Darius I's aim is to conquer Europe. His vast army takes Byzantium with little difficulty. The city surrenders without much resistance. For 35 years, the Persians control the passage between the continents. 478 BC. Sparta, one of the most powerful states of the era, defeats the Persians. Byzantium once again becomes a state of the Greek people. However, Athens, another Greek city-state, also wants it. Sparta wants it. They fight over this city for 70 years. Whoever controls Byzantium also controls Athens' grain supply. 340 BC. This time, King Philip II of Macedon besieges Byzantium. By controlling the strait, he aims to bring Greece under his control. However, the city resists. Ironically, help arrives from the Persians. Philip II withdraws. The city is saved. His son Alexander will not forget this place. 334 BC. Alexander the Great is advancing eastward. He needs to cross into Asia for his long period of conquests. Byzantium opens its gates. His army crosses south of the Hellespont. Byzantium supports Alexander the Great's eastern campaign. They see it as a better option than fighting. During this period, Byzantium developed, grew, and prospered for 150 years. In these years, known as the Hellenistic period, Greek culture spread to the east. It was far ahead of its time in subjects such as philosophy, science, art, and literature. The city Alexander passed through, the city the Persians could not capture, still Greek, still independent. 196 AD. Civil war breaks out in Rome. This time, Byzantium supports the wrong side. Septimius Severus besieges the city for 3 years. The result of this intense siege is starvation. Finally, surrender. The Roman walls are destroyed, buildings are burned, and the city is completely captured. The Greek period ends, and the Roman period begins. But the city survives, continuing to stand even after certain parts are destroyed and rebuilt. After destroying Byzantion, Septimius Severus realized his mistake. This city was too valuable to be left in ruins. It dominated a very strategic region. He rebuilt the city, bigger, more magnificent. New walls, new buildings, a hippodrome, Roman baths, markets. He even changed its name to Augusta Antonina, inspired by his son's name. The city was reborn from the ashes, more magnificent than before. For a century, Byzantium flourished under Roman influence. The city expanded and grew beyond Severus's walls. Aqueducts brought water. Roads connecting the provinces were built. It had become a true Roman city. Forums, baths, a hippodrome, and temples dedicated to Roman gods. As time went on, Rome itself began to crumble. Emperors were assassinated. It couldn't resist the barbarian invasions, and the economy collapsed. Byzantium barely survived. The walls held up. The city remained standing. In 284 AD, Diocletian became emperor. He divided the empire into 4 regions. Where was the capital? Byzantium? No. 100 kilometers to the east, Nicomedia. For 40 years, Byzantium remained in the shadows. It became a second-class city, but this did not diminish its splendor and beauty. Even without being the capital, it was still the most important and beautiful city. 324 AD, Constantine defeats his rival Licinius right here in Chrysopolis, across the Bosphorus. He looks towards Byzantium, its walls, its harbor, its sphere of influence. Its location on 7 hills, like Rome. This will be his future capital. Constantine rebuilt the city. New walls stretching 3 kilometers westward, a city 5 times larger than the old. A 100-foot-high columned forum, churches, palaces. A brand new, modern city. A 6-year construction period, a great transformation. Artists were brought from Rome. Statues of Alexander, Julius Caesar, and Augustus adorned the streets. Churches rose on the 7 hills. The hippodrome was expanded. Constantinople became a great attraction. Even holy relics, a piece of the cross, were brought. The city was almost ready to become the capital. May 11, 330 AD. The capital of the Roman Empire moved eastward after 1,000 years. Constantine named Constantinople, which is present-day Istanbul, and made it the new capital. And this city stood as Constantinople for more than 1,000 years. For 2 centuries, Constantinople flourished, becoming one of the most important cities in the region. Trade flowed through the Bosphorus. Emperors ruled from the Great Palace. It was the richest city in the Christian world. Its walls had never been breached, nor would they be easily breached. 537 AD. Emperor Justinian opened Hagia Sophia, the largest church ever built. Its dome seems to float on the light. "Solomon, I have surpassed you," whispers Justinian. 674 AD. Arab fleets attack Constantinople. Greek fire saves the city. Flames on the water. The Arabs retreat. 717 AD. They return. A year-long siege brings famine and disease, but the Great Walls hold out. Constantinople survives, albeit barely. The Byzantine Empire is recovering. Art, education, universities, libraries, theology, culturally far ahead of its time. Constantinople, with a population of 400,000, is more than just a large city. It's the richest palace in Europe, but there are those who watch this with envy. April 1204. Soldiers are being assembled for the 4th Crusade. This time, the target is not Muslims, but the conquest of Constantinople. Christians against Christians. They plunder the city for 3 days. Hagia Sophia is looted. Libraries are burned. 1,000-year-old treasures are stolen. The Byzantine Empire crumbles, remaining only as a city-state. In 1261, the Byzantines managed to retake Constantinople. Great wealth was lost, the city was plundered, and the walls protecting it were destroyed. The population had fallen from 400,000 to 50,000. And during this period, a new power was rising in the east, the Ottoman Turks. April 1453. Sultan Mehmed II besieged Constantinople with an army of 80,000 men. Inside, there were only 7,000 defenders. The enormous cannons that Sultan Mehmed had built specifically for this siege bombarded the walls. The Byzantines repaired the walls every night. Everyone knew how it would end. The siege lasted 53 days. And finally, the 29th of May, 1453. Before dawn, the final assault. Ottoman troops pour in through the ruined walls. Emperor Constantine dies, fighting alongside his soldiers in the streets. In the afternoon, Constantinople falls. 1,123 years later, the Byzantine Empire comes to a complete end. The Ottoman Empire begins. The city's name becomes Istanbul. The 29th of May, 1453, Mehmed the Conqueror enters Constantinople. He renames At Istanbul, Hagia Sophia becomes a mosque. The Byzantine capital becomes the Ottoman capital. A new empire rises on the ruins of the old. 1520 to 1566. Suleiman the Magnificent. The Ottoman Empire reaches its peak, its greatest territorial extent. From Vienna to Yemen, from Algeria to Baghdad, and in Istanbul, the greatest architect, Sinan, builds the Süleymaniye Mosque. Ottoman power is at its zenith. In 1616, during the reign of Sultan Ahmed I, the Sultanate Mosque was completed. 6 minarets, thousands of blue tiles. It stands majestically opposite Hagia Sophia in the square. Ottoman architecture challenges Byzantine splendor. 2 empires, 2 faiths, 1 city. 1718. The Tulip Era, a period of improved relations with Europe. Ottoman aristocrats built palaces along the coast under European influence. Gardens, festivals, and ostentation were prominent, but the people were not satisfied. Military defeats also increased during this period. The empire weakened. 1839. The Tanzimat era and modernization reforms, European laws, railways, telegraphs, Western education, military modernization. Istanbul and the Ottoman Empire are trying to catch up with Europe. But it's too late. The empire is called the sick man of Europe. 1908. The Young Turks are rebelling. They are forcing Sultan Abdul Hamid to reinstate the constitution. Democracy, freedom, modernization. But the empire is collapsing. Nationalism is rising, and many nations are forming their own countries. The empire is disintegrating. War is coming. 1914. World War I begins, and the Ottomans side with Germany. Gallipoli is a magnificent victory, but everywhere else, defeat. The Arabs revolt. Allied armies advance. 1918. The empire finally surrenders. Allied forces occupy Istanbul. It's all over. The end of a great era. The 1st of November, 1922. The Grand National Assembly of Turkey votes. The Sultanate is abolished. The Ottoman Empire officially comes to an end. After 469 years, Ottoman rule over Istanbul will end, and a new Turkish state will be established in its place. The last Sultan, Mehmed VI, escapes on a British warship. The empire is destroyed. The Republic arrives. The 29th of October, 1923, Mustafa Kemal Ataturk declared the Republic of Turkey. The capital was moved to Ankara. Istanbul ceased to be the capital for the first time in 1600 years. A brand new country was established with radical changes, secular reforms. The Latin alphabet, women's rights. Modern Turkey was born. Although Ankara became the capital, Istanbul remained the most important city and the cultural heart of the country. 1950s. A massive influx of population into Istanbul. The population explodes. Villages are emptying as people flock to the city. Neighborhoods are rising on the hills. The Bosphorus Bridge connects Europe and Asia, 1973. A modern metropolis rising from ancient foundations. The 2000s. Istanbul is transforming again. Glass towers are rising. The metro is expanding. It's moving underground. The population reaches 15 million. Traffic is clogging the streets. There are now 3 Bosphorus bridges. Ancient and modern collide. Hagia Sophia becomes a mosque again in 2020. The past never leaves Istanbul. Today, 2026. Istanbul, 16 million people. 8,500 years of continuous habitation. From Ice Age caves to Byzantine emperors to Ottoman sultans to the Turkish Republic, Every empire that touched this city left its mark. And Istanbul? Istanbul endures, always has, always will.